Hey staff, we have the opportunity to bring in our Zoom basic accounts into a district account that will give us a few more features. So I'm going to do two things in this video. I'm going to walk you through how to join your account to the Zoom account, our district Zoom account, and also what features you'll have as part of that. The first thing that you're going to want to do is log out of your zoom.us account. The first thing that you're going to need to do is go to your favorite browser and type in zoom.us to see if you're logged in. We want to get logged out of Zoom. So in my case, I went there and I'm already logged in, so I'm going to click up in the corner and I'm going to sign out. If you went to zoom.us and ended up on a screen like this, that's perfect. That's exactly where you need to be. From there, you need to go to this web address, and I'm going to email this along with the video so that you can just click on it to get to it. When you get there, it should go to a site that looks like this. Now, if it doesn't have this specific to West Salem, but if you look up in the URL, it still has the correct address. So it still says wsalem.k12 at the top in the URL, but it doesn't come to this nice page with a leaf on it. You're still in the right place, and that's perfectly fine. Once you are on this page, you're going to click in the sign in. And there, if you happen to be logged into more than one Google account, you need to choose your school Google account. Make sure that's the correct email, and then you're going to confirm your email address. You're going to click on that button. From there, it's going to pop up and say that it has sent you an email. So you're going to look for an email from Zoom. So when you go into your email account, so you're going to look for an email from Zoom, and when you open it up, there is a blue button that says switch to new account. So you're going to tap on that button. And then from there, it's going to say, I acknowledge and switch. So you're going to click on that. Now, for some of you, this might take you right back into Zoom. For others of you, you may get a message that says, this may take some time. You can continue to use Zoom, and that's perfectly fine. You can just get right out of that. You're done. You've done what you need to do, and you can go on and work with Zoom in any way that you need to. To know if this worked at all, a couple of things would pop up that you didn't have before. First of all, the easiest way for me to see is the word reports shows up here. So that's one way to determine if you are into our district account. So let's talk about some of the features that will be available for you that you could use. First of all, how this came about is the district purchased a limited amount of paid accounts, and what we found out is that by purchasing those paid accounts, we could bring in all the basic accounts too, and they could get some additional features. One of the things we like about it is the security settings. For example, in the past, when we had a major security setting change that needed to be done, I sent something out to all of you, and you each had to go in, make the change individually, and we hope that you all did it. Now, if there was something we all needed, I can click on that in the security setting, and it changes for everyone. For example, if we said everybody has to have a waiting room, we could click on waiting room and turn it on, and we could lock that so that you can actually change that. The other thing we can do is we do have a limited amount of licenses, but we can actually reallocate those. So if there was a feature in the paid license that you needed, we could actually move that paid license over to you for a short period of time and then move it back. So say, for example, you wanted to present to a large group of people, or another thing that the paid version has is something called polling, where you can poll the people who are in your meeting with you. And again, if you were doing an activity and you wanted that polling, we could turn the license over to you, and then we could take it away again. So that's kind of nice. The other thing that I had briefly mentioned was meeting reports, and this could be handy to know who's been in your meeting. So when you are in your zoom.us and you're logged in, you're going to see this reports down here. If you click on that, there are two reports that you see in the basic account, usage and meetings. Usage is the one that you're going to use most often, so if you select that one, and then from there you select a date range of when the meetings took place. So you could choose the dates, and then it's going to show you the meetings that occurred on those particular dates. Now, if you scroll to the right, there are several columns here. If you scroll to the right, you're going to see a column that says participants, and the number of participants is in blue because that's a link, and you can actually click on that, and then it will give you a list of who was in the meeting, and you can actually export. One of our teachers said it was really handy to export it into a spreadsheet and then sort it by email, so then she could look more closely at who was in the meeting for attendance. One of the things that may seem a little bit strange when you look at this is the 1 minute. Some people are in your meeting for 1 minute and then they're repeated again and they're in there for longer. Why is that? That's because they are coming into your waiting room, and that's like being entered into one meeting, and then when you let them into your actual meeting itself, is like it's joining another meeting. So it's just showing that they were in your waiting room and then they were in your regular meeting. There is a little box up here that says show unique users, that you can condense those so that they show up all at one time instead of multiple times. The other thing that you can do, this is a little bit silly, but you can actually customize your waiting room in the settings. So if you wanted to change the message that was going out in your waiting room, you could do that. This is a little example of what I did. I changed the message, added a little image here so that people would see that in their waiting room. The other thing that's nice is that you can make other people in your meeting a co-host, and so they have many of the same privileges. So a co-host can send someone to the waiting room, just different features like that. Also, I wanted to let you know that closed captioning is available. Again, we like that on, and there is now a feature that says enable live transcription service. So if you wanted that to happen during your meeting, you can do that too. A quick little note about the co-host and the what they can't do. So a co-host cannot start closed captioning, they can't start live streaming, they can't end the meeting for all participants. They do not have access to make someone else a co-host. They can't start breakout rooms or move participants from one room to another. And they can't start a waiting room either. Another feature that's now available in Zoom is the ability to change your gallery view. So in this particular image, you can see that this picture, someone is actually dragging this image into another spot, and you can rearrange those. Now keep in mind, this does not rearrange for your viewers. Their screen is different than yours. So I know we've all had that happen before where we said, oh, we're going to start at the top, and the top on your screen as to who's in the top row is not the same as somebody else's, and you can't adjust that. The other thing that's possible now is you can actually let participants choose a room. And a few people, if you aren't seeing this, it can be because your app is not updated. So your Zoom app, you may want to update that if you're not seeing that as a choice. This can be good for allowing students to go into rooms, but if maybe you were hosting something where you were going to have a number of people and a number of sections and you didn't want to send out multiple Zoom links, you could have one Zoom link, and once they got in, they could choose which breakout room they wanted to go in based on the topic that you were having for those. Another quick little tip, and this is in the app itself. So this is not at zoom.us, but this is in the app itself. If you click on the Zoom app that's in your dock and you open it up, and there's a settings and then the video, notice I have video selected here, you can actually try to uncheck the HD that's on here. The HD, the Zoom trainer said that an HD takes up a little more Wi-Fi, so if you're working from home and the Wi-Fi isn't as good, you can actually uncheck the HD. The other thing that you could turn on too is always display participant names on their videos so that you could identify people a little bit better. And then some computers, I haven't had any luck with our computers, but some computers allow 49 participants as well. As always, if you have any questions with this, I would be happy to help. If you want me to work in person with you, that is perfectly fine. Just let me know.